Welcome back to Drafting Out Loud. Here we are on a slow draft someday, and that someday today is Friday. I was thinking it was Saturday. It's not Saturday, it's Friday. Okay. We have a theme for today's episode, and it is complexity at each pick. And I think it's gonna be a fun one to jump into. Hopefully, you enjoy long, drawn out conversations on each pick. If you do, you'll enjoy this. Let's get into it. We have the first one up here, and we're in the 10th round. I got a 1-3-4-1 going on so far. And I had it queued up like this originally with Jared Goff number one, Kenny Gainwell number two on here. And the reason why I had Jared Goff queued up as the first one was because I could get a Detroit Chicago backstack going. He'd be my second QB. We'd be good to go. But as I've thought about this more, I think Kenny Gainwell might be the right pick. I don't even like Kenny Gainwell. That's why it's a pick that I wasn't gravitating towards. But here's the thing. If I take Jared Goff with this pick, which I think is totally fine pick, my next pick I'm not going to love no matter what. I could get a Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, not going to love it, but I guess I could take it. I need wide receivers. Um, but I'm not going to love them. I need tight ends, but I don't think George Kittle is going to get to me. I guess Travis Kelce would be a stack without the QB, which would be okay, kind of. And then Mark Andrews could be like a stack without the QB, okay, kind of. But I don't really even need another tight end with Colston Loveland as my number one tight end. I think that if a tight end came back to me, the one I think I'd probably be most excited about of these tight ends would be George Kittle. Now, George Kittle could get back to me potentially, but this guy's got none of the guys have any tight ends. None of them have tight ends. And I think Kittle's getting a little bit of buzz because he's actually been on the field practicing. But why do I think Kenny Gainwell is the target here? I think it's for the kind of the same reason that I'm probably not going to get Kittle back is the same reason I might get Jared Goff back. I know it's a riskier play, but Gainwell is a bring back to Stafford. That's good. He's also most likely the biggest pass catching back, and you want that in a high scoring game. That's also good. I also have a lot of Bucky Irving already with Puka on some other teams. So it's nice to have the opposite of that, right? Or like, the competing backfield mate in Gainwell. And I'm getting him at a big discount here at 117 when it usually goes at 107. So a 10 pick discount. And it's someone I don't have a lot of either. And so it's nice when it's a discount. It makes sense for the team and you don't have a lot of them. If I go here to the leverage lab and look at our combo catalyst, we can see here that I only have him on 5% of the teams. And you can see that when it comes to bringbacks, I don't have a whole lot going on in bringbacks or even stacks really when it comes to Kenneth Gainwell. He's just been a player that's been added to teams a couple times, I guess. And you can see actually I've only taken him when he's fallen, or maybe he's risen since right when I draft him or something like that. But I've only taken him when he's kind of fallen on teams, and so it's nice. I'm going to be, I guess, kind of close to 8% here, and I will have not taken him once in a spot that like kind of hurt my team a whole lot. In addition, I think there's a chance that Jared Goff continues to fall and goes all the way back to me at 124, which would be pretty darn cool if it happened. If we look here, we can see that there's there's a couple players you need to look out for when it comes to Detroit. One of them is Amon-Ra St. Brown, who don't need to worry about him. He's on the other side of the board. Jameson Williams goes in a couple different places. He went all the way here at 55. So he's already passed as well. So don't need to worry about him either. which means then it's really Laporta and Gibbs. Laporta actually is over on this side of the board also. So really the only player left is Gibbs, and Gibbs goes in a one or two. He went two in this draft. He already has one QB in Hurts. So they have the same buy. They don't. That'd be even better if they had the same buy. But one QB in Hurts. And so he could either want to stack with the running back, which a lot of times that's people say that's not the right thing to do. Oftentimes, I'll do it, but I know it's kind of, maybe not best practice. But he also has Chris Olave here, who he drafted relatively early. He's going like 29 right now. This is an older draft. He was over here, and then he kind of, you know, dropped a little bit when the blood clot stuff was going down. And so he might be just as likely to want to stack Chris Olave with Tyler Shuck here at 121. So there's a chance that I end up with Jared Goff because he's got a QB. He's got a QB. Or that's me. He's got a QB. He's got a QB. They're both early. Allen, Burrow, and he's got Hurts, which is early as well. And he's got Olave, who you might want to stack. So these guys just might not want Goff at all because there's really not a whole lot of correlation. You can tell these players are correlating. This guy's got Allen and Moore right here. And Smith and Pearsall right here, although he doesn't have the QB to go along with it. So there is a good chance that we end up with both players in this draft. If we miss out on Goff, we have kind of like the backup of Josh Downs. We can also, queue up Jaden Higgins if we want to, or Jalen Coker, or take Malik Willis. Don't think we'll do that. But there are other options there at QB. We also have Warren, so we can also pull up Aaron Rodgers as well later on in the draft. We go like Josh, we could go Daniel Jones and then like around later, on the way back around the next time, Aaron Rodgers, if he gets back to us. 175, where's that? So we'd end up with like Jones here and then Rodgers here. Jones with one of these picks, depending on what it looks like, then Rodgers with one of these picks, depending on what it looks like. And that would be a fine three-headed monster as well at QB. I don't even know if I'd call it a monster, but three-headed, three QB team. Okay, and that we can stop at 4 running backs, even if Gainwell isn't all that. You've got Henry and Jacobs, and if Jacobs gets suspended at some point, maybe early in the season, we have Gainwell to give us points, right, while we're waiting for Josh Jacobs to get back. Okay, I think this just works on like every level. Hopefully you agree. We're going Kenny Gainwell. Boom. Okay, next one. This one may be complicated for other reasons, maybe. This is another, maybe this should be called taking players we don't want to take, is what it could be as well. Look at this. We got a 2-4-5 in this one. No tight ends at all. We got Joe Burrow and Bo Nix. Joe Burrow's stacked with Chase Brown and T. Higgins. We got Bo Nix stacked up with Cortland Sutton, a bring back with Trevion Henderson. So we got this team highly correlated. We took Stefon Diggs at 129. And Shaheed's getting pulled up. Coker fell a bit. Why did all that happen? I guess Goddard got pulled up a bit. Mitchell. I think Mitchell got pulled up, right? He usually goes later than that, if I'm not mistaken. And because of that, we have an option of a falling Jaden Higgins, a falling Malik Willis, a fun Travis Hunter close to ADP. A lot of options here. The fun one, the one that I've done oftentimes here is Travis Hunter, just because other players aren't available right here. And why not get an upside QB swing, especially when you don't have, so not QB swing, an upside wide receiver swing, especially when maybe you don't have a lot of high end wide receivers and you want to get some like hardcore upside on your team. This one here, I definitely have some upside. I definitely have hopefully some floor, some upside, some floor, like hopefully a bunch of solid picks here. But it's hard. So then you go Jaden Higgins and the ADP value or Travis Hunter there. I have a ton of Travis Hunter. I have very little Jaden Higgins, I want to say, in redraft, not in redraft, in post draft. Let's take a look. Higgins first off, right? Higgins, let's see. Yeah, so I'm slightly below market on Higgins. You can see he's another player where I've taken only 3 times, and mainly when he's fallen past ADP, it looks like. Done it to stack up him a decent amount. And someone that's, easy to bring back a lot of times, a lot of Packers you can choose. So a lot of bringbacks going on when I do that too. So it looks like I'm pretty darn strategic when I get Jaden Higgins on the team. Looks like the Chris Bell pick, he's just falling a lot. Overall, not bad. You can see I do have him with Diggs 1 time. What's on this team here? It is Amon-Ra's my top pick on this team. Just for fun. Do we have him with Amon-Ra yet? Nope. We do not have him with Amon-Ra yet. So I don't think we need the extra QB. And this is another one where I think the last one too, Daniel Jones could be like a end of the draft QB if we wanted to. We don't need to. Again, we could also take what's his face? Bryce Young if we wanted to stack with the running back. Jonathan Brooks should have the receiving role from the backfield from what I've been hearing. But I think Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter. So 7.5% Higgins, 15% Hunter. So way higher on Hunter than Higgins. Just drafting him a ton overall. Looks like I have him on those same Chris Bell teams. Ouch, minus 21. Let's just look at this really quick for fun. Are either of these two teams? Let's see how the rest of it looks compared to that. Okay, everything else is looking pretty darn solid as far as CLV value goes, minus the Chris Bell picks, which are late picks anyways. So not the end of the world. Hopefully we made them count as far as like the 17th round pick. No, hopefully we made the 18th round pick count because we probably took him like in the 17th round. So with this one here, we have very little of Higgins. I think this is not little, but we're below the market on Higgins. We're getting him well past ADP here. I think it just makes sense to do. There's no stacking options, right? Like Denver, New England. I was thinking maybe around here, maybe not this pick, but the previous pick. Diggs was maybe an option, but Diggs went like way early in this one, I think. Yeah. I took not Diggs. I didn't mean Diggs. I meant Dobbs, Romeo Dobbs. Look at this. Dobbs actually, I didn't even notice it at the time, but Dobbs went before I even took Bo Nix. So I was not going to be able to get Romeo Dobbs at 129. So I had to settle for stuff on Diggs. But we're going to go Higgins here. Hopefully it's not a bad pick. We are going to be a 2-4-5-6-0 at that point in time. And we're going to have to go pretty darn hard at tight end. It's going to be a 4 tight end team probably because it's going to be a wide receiver, then a 1, 2, 3. They don't have to be those 4, but it doesn't have to be 4 and we're after that. But we might get one more wide receiver on the team to make it a 7 wide receiver build. Probably makes sense. We'll have to figure out from there. We could stop at 2 QBs if we want to. We can stop at 4 running backs if we want to. 6 wide receivers is probably okay. We can go to 7 though. It's 7 and then 4 picks here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that gives us 2 more picks still to figure out what we want to do with that. Well, that's a 5th tight end, a 3rd QB, a 5th running back, a 8th wide receiver. All those are in play as options. I think we just have a relatively balanced team overall with what we got going on here. Oh, this is one where I took downs here at 88. Had Reed already gone? Oh, Reed had already gone at 78. Okay. Okay, let's do it. We're going to draft Jaden Higgins. Next one on the board. 1 hour left in this one. Wow. I've not had Josh Allen fall to me yet, and I don't think we're going to take him. We got CeeDee Lamb, who we can stack. We got T. Higgins, who we can stack. We got Omari and Hampton, who we can stack. I think they're all, we can stack all these players. On top of that, we got Garrett Wilson, who's not a bad pick here. We also have Cam Scatabo, who we're trying to get ahead of the market here with him before he rises. I expect him to probably rise as just more positive news comes out about him. And he also is a bring back on CeeDee Lamb. Let's see if we have any CeeDee Lamb Cam Scatabo yet. I don't know if we do. CeeDee Lamb, we don't have a lot of CeeDee Lamb to begin with. So you can see we've stacked them both times with Dak Prescott. It's an easy one to do. And you can see we haven't really done any bring backing at all, just Darnell Mooney on one of the teams. Looks like there's a Josh Jacobs on one of those. Do we have Josh Jacobs on? No, we don't. We're not going to have Josh Jacobs. We're going to have Cam Scatabo instead on this one. Overall, looking pretty good. I think this Jordan Addison thing, I'm debating whether I took him too much too early or not. I'm not sure about that one exactly. I got to think about it more, read about it more, listen about it more. But we're going to go Cam on this one. I can't believe I'm doing it where Josh Allen gets to us and we're not taking him. I think if this was a different draft and we had like different receivers, maybe, or if we had more running backs and less receivers, in addition to that, like Cam Scatabo and Josh Jacobs weren't available. If all those things happened, I think we would just take Josh Allen at the ADP value. But because that's not what we have going on here, I think it makes sense to get the bring back, hopefully play the market here a little bit. There might be a day where, and I kind of expect there to be a day where Josh Allen is always going after Cam Scatabo. And maybe they just flip a little bit, but maybe they don't. And Cam Scatabo continues to climb up the board from the end of the 3rd to the beginning of the 3rd or something like that. So we're going Cam here to have a 2-2, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver. Start passing up on the current CLV to hopefully have some CLV later on is what we're trying to do here. And getting the bring back, like I said, as well. Boom. Welcome to the team, Cam Scatabo. I think Josh Allen's going to go here more often. He's almost into the fourth round here. It's who knows? There's so many people that are saying that he is too expensive to where you could see this just continuing to fall down the board. Maybe not past the fourth round, but maybe he gets into the fourth round as the ADP. Okay, we got two more left. Okay. Is there one more after this? There is. Okay. Two more left. 2 hours left on the clock on this one. We took Colston Loveland in the fourth round. He got to the end of the fourth. I guess it's kind of his ADP now, so it's nothing special. I'm to the point here where I got so much Colston Loveland that I think I'm mainly waiting until the fifth to get him. That being said, when you get to the end of the fourth, there are times where there's nothing else that looks appealing. And if that happens, just take him. And so we have a 2-1-1 going here into the fifth round. And we took Colston Loveland with the expectation of most likely taking DeAndre Swift if he was available, and he is available here. Let's see if that still makes sense. Number one, I don't know if I've done this before or not. Let's go see if I've done it. Let's unsynthesize this Chris Bell pick here. Let's go look at Colston Loveland. Yeah, look at that. You can see I have a lot of him, 15%, taking him basically at ADP. I think I've pulled him up maybe once or twice, and then I've gotten him well after, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong about that. You can see I've stacked him up half the time. That's not bad. Got him with another pass catcher or running back one time as well. With a little bit of, this is the hard thing, getting him with Lions. And so that's why we're talking about that other one. Can we get Jared Goff to go all the way back around? Get him with some Lions as well. You want to get both sides of this a little bit. And it's a hard one to get both sides of it without overpaying for someone or having someone fall for the most part. Jameson Williams, maybe not. I guess I'm lying about that. You get Jahmyr Gibbs there. You can get Jameson Williams there. You can get Isaac Tesla. You can get all of them there except for Amon-Ra. You got to pull up. You got to pull up Loveland a little bit to get Amon-Ra. So but we have no Swift. Okay, so this will be the first time that we do this. And I think when I was looking at it, it was one where maybe Caleb goes all the way back to us here at pick 71. Is that like his ADP now, though, too, right? It's kind of started to trickle a little bit. Yeah, 71.3. And so maybe I even, depending on what's available at 71, maybe I push it and see if he gets to 74. If he gets to me, of course, in the first place. But I think taking Swift here makes some sense. Number one, Love doesn't have to start out strong. I can have Robinson and Swift getting me points to start. Number two, I'm kind of stacking the Bears, which is an exciting offense. Number three, right here is the Luther Burden drafter, which is the one that we have to be aware of the most. I think Rome is all the way over here. Like he's not drafted yet, and he usually goes 60, 61, if I'm not mistaken. 59, yeah, so 60. And so this guy here can do like Rome and then pull up Caleb almost a full round if he wants to. Oftentimes they're not going to do that if they're not. I've only seen that mainly when they get like two Bears and they want to make sure they get the quarterback also. I probably wouldn't be doing that now. I think that might actually naturally happen later on. Williams might continue to fall a little further down this range where you can more comfortably get him at 84 as opposed to 61. If it doesn't happen later on, you can always do it later in the season. But this one here with the Burden drafter also having Lamb and Flowers and Brown, he could easily at 64 decide, or at 57, maybe he can get Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's still available. At 64, he could try to get Joe Burrow, which is around his ADP. 66, like closer to his ADP. He could also decide to wait and say, you know what, I want to just get Dak Prescott to go with CeeDee Lamb. So this is one where I could get Caleb to make it all the way back to me, which is just his ADP. It's hard to get him just because there's so many other people competing for Caleb Williams. But this is one where maybe there won't be as many people competing, partially because I'm monopolizing some of the Bears, and partially because this guy's got other options that he might think are better options than Caleb Williams. Hoping that's the case. We're going to take DeAndre Swift here, helping our team from a running back perspective and also from a Bears stack perspective, ideally. DeAndre Swift, welcome to the team. Davante Adams isn't a bad pick either at 49. That being said, I think this just might be a better pick. That's my take. Okay, last one. Wow, Parker Washington, Ramondre Stevenson come back to me. So I took Jaylen Warren. I pulled him up to pick 69. Oh, here, look at, oh, this guy's got the Loveland Swift thing. Chase, London, Smith, Loveland, Swift, Williams, Hurts. I like it. There you go. That looks like a team that I would do a little bit right there. I like that. Okay. We took Jaylen Warren right here. As you can see, look at this. We're both doing like a zero QB thing, basically. If you count the fifth round as a zero QB here. I took Jaylen Warren right here because I thought there was a chance that no running backs would make it back to me. This guy's only got one. This guy only had one. So I figured that Warren, Pollard, and Ramondre Stevenson could all go if I didn't take one. And if I took a wide receiver like Parker Washington, which I was considering doing here, then if there are no running backs that come back to me, then I'm really in a weird position at this point. I don't want to really take Hurts on this team because I got other options later on, and I got tons of Hurts. And there wouldn't be any running backs that are interesting. And what am I doing? Pulling up Tucker Kraft? Actually, not a horrible thing with Nico Collins on the team. So I could do that. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. Actually, the only thing is that's not a fun. That's a really tough week 17. You're telling me that you want to rely on a game against Houston and then a Green Bay with what's his face recovered and back on the field at edge rusher for him. That's a tough sell a little bit. So I'm not as enthusiastic about the Packers now as I was pre-NFL draft, and as I've kind of thought about things a little bit more and what that means, and just continuously now ingrained Houston versus Green Bay. I don't like it. So Parker Washington fall here, which is harder and harder to get, is interesting here. And it's interesting because number one, it's harder to get. I want to say I have a decent amount of Parker Washington though, but I don't think we're gonna stop here. Yeah, I'm above the market on underdog on Parker Washington. You can see this is where I've kind of been taking him. And I was taking him here before the news, and as he's risen up, I haven't really taken him as much. Hard to stack him just because of where Trevor Lawrence goes. Like he doesn't make it back to you, basically. But if he did in this draft, it'd be a pretty sweet one because we do have Terry McLaurin here. In Washington, Jacksonville is a bringback. And so if we get lucky, our next pick would be Trevor Lawrence. If we don't get lucky, we can look at a couple different things. One of them would be like running back. Like Blake Corum, and then one of these other running backs, whether it's a J.K. Dobbins, Jonathan Brooks. J.K. Dobbins getting some love back up to 99. And then, so let's just click on, because we've been clicking a lot of Jonathan Brooks. Let's just say that we end up with him again. And then ideally, the next pick after that would be Matthew Stafford. Does that make sense? Where's Devontae? There's Devontae Adams right there. So that would make sense, right? We go and we say Parker Washington here. Let's say we don't get the QB. We get the running back, and then we get the QB, right, Matthew Stafford right here at 118, double stacked with Puka and Blake Corum potentially. And we're feeling pretty with that team with two QBs that have later round tight ends, so we can get this tight end stacked as well if we want to. It'll make sense from a lot of. It'll just make sense. And so we're going to take Parker Washington here instead of Ramondre Stevenson. I think a lot of people will just take Ramondre Stevenson because they only got one running back and they're starting to feel less comfy. I think Ramondre Stevenson is a fine play here. But I think this is more fun. Warren, and then you'll probably get Lawrence, right? So Warren, Corum, Brooks. I think that's more fun. You have players that are getting points early on, not a lot of points, but getting points later on. They all have a chance to establish themselves as the number one on the team. And if one of them or two of them did that, then you're kind of cooking with the start. So we're going to go, and hopefully Parker Washington is kind of like with how much I have of him. Hopefully it's Parker Washington and Hunter, right? As the two the big players there. Who knows if Hunter would take the place of Parker Washington if Parker Washington doesn't do it, but I guess that'd be good for me as well, right? I have a lot of Hunter also. So let's just go and take Parker Washington here as part of a 1150 start. This is old school start right here is what this is. Parker Washington, welcome to the team. And just for fun, I think we have Parker Washington queued up here. Do we have any Parker Washington, Terry McLaurin teams? Let's see if we do. We don't. No Terry McLaurin teams. Okay. So that's pretty sweet that we are doing something a little bit different. Do we have him with Puka at all? Let's just for fun. No, not with Puka at all either. So this is, it's always great when you have someone that you've drafted a lot, but then you end up with a totally unique team with those players. Let's see if we have him with anyone. I mean, we're just gonna do it. Let's keep on going. Nico. No Nico. How about Zay? We gotta have him with Zay. Yeah, we got him with Zay one time. Let's take a look at that team. So there's the Parker Washington Zay Flowers team. We have him with Lamar Jackson as well. So that would be the same. But it looks like everything else is different for the most part. I mean, we haven't really drafted the whole team yet, but looks like we did a good job overall with this team. Here's our Chris Bell hanging out, which I guess he's on every team we've looked at. I don't know if that's because it's just all the teams we've looked at are the same team over and over again, or if I just did that bad drafting Chris Bell. I don't think I went that crazy with him. Brian Robinson at good CLV, Michael Pittman, Josh Jacobs here kind of at CLV, Xavier Worthy a little after, Marvin Harrison a little bit before, Chase Brown at CLV, John, like whatever, these are the first, second round picks. Patrick Mahomes pulled him up just a tad to get with Xavier Worthy, and I saw Travis Kelce here as well. Terrence Ferguson, who's rising up the board. Chig, who has risen. Ryan Flournoy rose up the board as well. Malik, we got a fall. Looks like we just took a third QB just for the heck of it because he fell so much. We have Patrick Mahomes. I think we have three QB. Yeah. Maybe it's only a two QB. No, there's three QBs. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Malik Willis. And we just were tempted. Okay, and that's why we took Chris Bell on the team, right? It's a stack with Malik Willis. There you go. I like it. Statesman at tight end to start the season. Hopefully Chig and Terrence finish it off. That's not a bad team right there, actually. And hopefully we can kind of create another one that's an interesting and solid team. Okay, that's all we got for the day. See you on the next one. Peace.